Do you have fabric or yarn hidden under your bed or in closets? Have you snuck stuff in so that your significant other, partner, spouse doesn't find out about it? Do you have so much you don't even know what you have? What is this drive to build a stash that will outlive us, and how does it affect the quality of our lives, emotionally, mentally, financially? I've been giving this some thought, and as a result, I'm dedicating 2021 as the year to destash and reclaim my creativity. Hi everyone, I'm Lynn, and I'm a crafter with an emphasis on knitting and sewing. Welcome to my channel. Last year, I challenged myself to knit a sweater a month. You can see them all behind me. I completed this by September, making 14 sweaters as well as a hat, a pillow, and a pair of gloves. I also made a queen-size quilt, 3 pillow shams, and 2 hooked rugs, working entirely from my stash. This year, I want to reduce my stash even further so it fits into my linen cabinet. Now, this is a pretty tall order since my linen cabinet is already full of yarn and fabric. I have fabric hanging in my closet and stuffed in 2 dresser drawers. My yarn also occupies 2 plastic bins, 4 drawers, a laundry basket, and a garbage can. I mean, it's probably the smallest my stash has ever been, but it's still substantial. So a little backstory. I've been trying to reduce my ecological footprint and grew disenchanted with our materialistic culture. And after my divorce, I really got serious. I started off by jumping on the reusable bag bandwagon, using my stash to sew 6 bags. These bags are over 10 years old, and I still use them regularly. When my son left for college, we sold our 3,000 square foot house. I had multiple garage sales because I knew I'd be heading to apartment life and saw no need or space for 5 different sets of dishes, 3 lasagna pans. I got rid of kitchen gadgets when a knife would cut it. See what I did there? So by the time I moved out, all of my belongings, except my car, fit into a 7-foot pod with room to spare. And most of that was yarn, fabric, and books. Over the years, as I adopted a minimalist mindset and pared down other areas of my life, it was only a matter of time before I would turn to my stash, right? I asked myself, what value does my stash bring? Is it adding joy, or has it become a burden? I'm not judging anyone or their stash. I think a stash is a natural progression of any maker, whether you're a knitter, woodworker, beater, quilter, whatever. We're naturally drawn to our craft because we love the materials, the smell of wood, the feel of yarn, the color of beads. And when we become more entrenched in our hobby, we keep buying more than we can use at that moment because we really do love them. And we get a rush from the anticipation and possibilities of all these future projects. Anticipation is a pleasurable emotional state, so we do seek it out. A big challenge with my stash is it is not cohesive, and that has been a source of stress. There is no dominant color or fiber story. Most artists will work within a narrow palette or medium. A woodworker may choose to use only oak, and a painter may work in oils. And the benefit of this is when you do build a stash or are working with leftovers, everything goes together. While this may seem limiting, these constraints can actually feed creativity. I have not been so discerning about my stash, resulting in only what I can call a hot mess. I bought or kept random things, not really following any kind of criteria. Was it in my colors? Did I enjoy working with the material? Was it comfortable on my skin or practical for my lifestyle, like being easy to clean, because I'm not going to deal with dry cleaning anymore? The best analogy for my stash is having a closet full of clothes, but not being able to find anything to wear. And because I love to analyze how our mind works and how we think, I wondered if this was an outer manifestation of some inner conflict or negative belief. Did I subconsciously feel like I wasn't worthy of having materials, as Marie Kondo says, spark joy? Or did it reflect how detached I was from my own desires because I was too busy trying to please others that I hadn't given time to examine what I wanted? Given my history, both are a possibility. I wore my stash like a badge of honor. I showed off my wall of yarn. Yes, I had a wall of yarn. It became my identity instead of being a tool for my creativity. So much meaning became wrapped up in my stash. It filled me with hope for the possibilities and brought me shame for not bringing those dreams to life. My stash could also be a substitute for the work, a way to say, I'm creative without really having to do much. I could say, look at my stash. Here's my evidence of my creativity. It fed my image as a designer, but only in a superficial way. I overcompensated for my lack of output with my huge stash. That sounded a little dirty, didn't it? Anyway, you could say my stash also stemmed from a scarcity mentality. I stockpiled supplies and materials because I was afraid there wasn't going to be enough. And this played out in other areas of my life as I realized I didn't think I was enough. Who knew there was so much emotional baggage to unpack in something so innocuous as yarn and fabric? But as I explore this, I really question my need to hoard. I think letting go of my stash will free the mental space to focus on creating, where I find real joy and purpose and meaning. But I'm not going to beat myself up about it. It is what it is, and I want to make the best of the situation. I want to use this opportunity to make me a better designer, to learn the rules, bend the rules, break the rules, make my own rules. Hell, not use any rules at all. I want to relegate my stash back to its proper place, a tool for my creativity instead of being a repository for all my angst. And most of all, I want to have fun with it and play around with ideas, explore new techniques, dig deeper into my creative process and stretch the depths of my imagination to find my unique voice as a maker and an artist. That almost sounds like justification to keep my stash, doesn't it? But truthfully, being stashless is not the goal. But I do feel called to be more intentional and responsible for what I bring in and use. I mean, let's be real. I could resolve this issue easily just by giving it away. But that solution doesn't sit well with me. The environmentalist in me wants to use what I have so it doesn't end up in a landfill. The investor in me wants to use it because I paid a lot of good money for it. And the maker in me just wants to do what it loves to do, make things. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of this project and can't wait to get started. And please share in the comments your ideas, suggestions, struggles, and successes for dealing with your stash. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share with your friends. If you want to follow me on my destashing journey, hit subscribe and the bell to receive notifications when a new video is up. You can also follow me along on my blog. Links are down below. Happy destashing, everybody, and see you on the next one.